Hello and welcome to the beginning of my Unix tutorial series for beginners. Now, assumingly if you've clicked this video, you know what Unix is. But if you haven't and you just stumbled along on curiosity, well, Unix is an operating system from the 1960s, which we can still find today in our modern operating systems. And it's operating systems like Mac OS X, or Linux, which I'm using now. You can even find it on things like an iPhone or an Android smartphone. But anyway, you can't actually find it on Microsoft's Windows, which I'm sure most of you are running, most of the population at least. But there is a way of actually getting Unix onto it, which I actually might make a video on later. But anyway, now when I say this is a Unix system, I don't mean all this, like all this graphical stuff. I mean what you get in the terminal, or the shell. And you get there by going to the terminal application, or at least it's terminal in my case. On a Mac it's called terminal, I know that. But on your system it might be called console or shell or something like that. Anyway, when I say use, I mean what you get here in this little application, the text. So when I type stuff in, commands and stuff, you get output, and that's what I mean by Unix, the shell. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my special terminal with large font for you guys. Okay, so I must say this, what I have now isn't actually Unix from the 60s. 20 or 30 years ago, whatever, it was rewritten, and what I have now is called GNU. Well, it's not actually called GNU, but well, it's from the GNU Foundation. And the interesting thing about GNU, GNU, is it stands for GNU is not Unix. That's the acronym. And basically what it is, it's a clone of it, really. It's Unix rewritten to be open source, or at least open without legal restrictions. Because the original one, Unix, was proprietary, which meant it had a private owner and had legal restrictions on it. Well, the GNU one, the one I'm running now, most, if not everyone's running, is open, which means it's got no real restrictions on it. Alright, back to the shell. Okay, so the Unix shell is a command central thing. You only open it if you want to do something. And you can only do something with commands. For example, this will print out some stuff, and so will this. And this will print out the username of whoever's logged in. Okay. So one of the main things anyone will really want to do on Unix, well, the shell, I'm going to refer to it now from now on as the shell. One of the main things anyone will want to do with the shell is navigate the file system. So make, move, delete files, etc. Rename them, yep, things like that. And I'm going to show you that in this video. Okay, so while navigating the file system, you're going to need to know a few key commands, which are probably the main commands you'll need in Unix, or the shell. And the main one will probably be ls. And ls stands for list. The designers thought it'd be, smart to take out the unimportant characters from the words, the verbs, and just make it really short. 2 letters, ls, to list files in the directory. And that's fine, I guess. It's a bit confusing at first, but once you get used to it, ls is better. You can type it quicker, it's shorter. Yeah, so use ls to view the files in the directory, to list them in ascending order from A to Z. Okay, so ls lists the files in a directory, and you can see which directory you're in. And when I say directory, I mean like the path, the file system path of like where you are. So in terms of Windows, you could have the C drive, you could have your My Documents folder. In Linux, I have my home folder, which I'm currently in. On Mac, it's the same. So, and you can see what current directory you're in on the Unix shell by typing the pwd command. And this basically stands for Personal Work Directory. So the current directory you're working in. So let's quickly clear that. So I'll type in pwd, and it tells me I'm in Home Michael, and that's a directory. The first folder is called Home, and in the Home folder I'm in Michael, and this is the directory I'm in. So let's say I want to change directories. So I want to change the current place I'm in. So, well, I have to go somewhere, so I'll quickly hit LS to see where I can go, and I guess I'll go to this workspace folder. I can tell it's a directory because it's in blue, or green outside the blue in this case. That's because it's one of the attributes of it, but anyway. So I type in cd, and this is another new command, cd. Well, cd stands for change directory, and this command you can change the current directory you're into another. So I'm going to type cd and then the name of the directory I want to go to. Now you notice there's nothing before it, no path before this workspace name, and that's because, well, I'm in this home folder which contains the workspace folder. So cd workspace, we'll hit enter and type in pwd, and look, my work directory has changed to workspace. So I'll type in ls, and ls tells me that there's 4 folders in this workspace folder, and it's these 4. So let's cd again to quadratic one, and it's ls. Okay, and I can see more files. I can see the program I wrote for Android. Okay, so let's say I have a file here called my file. Right, so I can have a look at what's in this my file. There's this cat command, I'll explain it later. And I see it's a text file which has this gibberish in it. Okay, well, let's say this my file that I've made is in the wrong place. I don't want it in this quadratic factorizer folder. I want it in the bin folder, this here. So what I want to do is move this file into here. And in Linux, to do this, use the move command, or it's typed mv. So mv is just move, and we type mv and then the file we want to move, which is called my file in this case, and then the directory we want to move it to. So bin. Okay, and then we'll type ls again, and we see there's no my file anymore in this directory, and we'll type ls bin, and you see what I'm doing here. Before I haven't really typed anything after ls, but I'm typing bin after ls now. So what this is going to do is it's going to look in the bin folder and list the files in that. It's not actually going to list the files in the current one, rather the one I've typed. Okay, so you can specify which directory to list files in. Alright, so I hit enter, and I see that my file is in the right one. So for the sake of this, I'm going to cd into the bin. Okay, now I'm in it. Okay, so let's say I accidentally misspelt my file. Let's say I want to call it something different, like your file. So I'm going to use the same command I've already told you. It's called move. Okay, so this is the rename command. Realistically, you're essentially moving this my file to a new file. See what I mean? With a different name. Because, well, when you move something, you don't actually copy it over and delete, you just move it. You're not really copying. So this is the same for renaming. You're not actually copying it over and then renaming it. No, you're just renaming it. So that makes sense to you. Sorry, that explanation. So you type mv and the original file, and then the new files, and there, and we type ls to see what's done. And look, no more my file, but this is your file. And we can cat it again, see if it's still the same thing. And yep, it's still the same thing. Alright, let's just say now that we don't want this file at all. It's absolutely useless. We want to delete it. Well, to delete a file in Unix, we type the remove command, and it's referred to as rm. rm stands for remove, of course. So we'll type rm your file, and we'll type ls, and it's completely gone. It's deleted. It's no longer on my file system. And now here's a quick shortcut that you may find useful. Let's say I want to go back. I'm in this crazy directory. I want to go back to my home folder. Well, to go back here without typing cd home Michael, I don't want to type this, it's too long. I just type in cd, then tilde, the squiggly line. And in Unix, or the shell, the tilde is a shortcut for the home directory. So if I type, you'll see that the tilde is the home path. And for the sake of it, the echo command echoes whatever you just wrote to the command line. So hello, and it's going to echo it back. Alright, so anyway, I'm going to cd tilde, which is the equivalent of cd home Michael, and I'm going to see my work directory, and it's in home. Let's type ls here. Okay. Now, what I've showed you is actually rather simplistic. It's really simple commands, command arguments as well. But let's say I'll show you some more advanced examples. Now, actually, I'll show you some now. Well, actually, no, I'll show you how to find the disk space of file users. So let's say I have this Linux Mint 10 GNOME CD ISO, this disk image in my home directory, and I've really recently noticed my disk is running out of hard disk space, and I want to see how much space this ISO is using. So to do this, I'll type in du, and what du stands for is disk usage. So I'll type in du and Linux Mint 10 GNOME CD ISO, and it gives me this line 716060 and the file name. This is how much disk space this file is taking on the hard drive, and this is in kilobytes. So this is 716,000 kilobytes, which is 716 megabytes of disk space, which, yep, it's reasonable. I'm not going to delete it. What I've just done here is I've cleared the screen. So let's say I've got a lot of garbage typed up. Yep. Okay, so now I want to clear it. It's all messy. I can either type clear, or I can do a quick shortcut and type Control and L. Yep, so Control L will clear the screen and leave the current line, or so will clear. Alright, so let's get on to the more advanced ones. So let's say I'm in this folder, the root, what's called the root folder, which is the top directory where the entire file system lives, and we can see the home folder that all my files live in. Okay, so let's say I want to cd, I want to move this file one folder up. No, I'm cd into another folder. Let's go to workspace. We'll go back to quad. Okay, let's say I want to move. Yeah, I'll make a new one. Echo. Pay no attention to this. It's just to make an example. Okay. So let's say I want to move this my file into my home folder from the root folder. So I'm here and I want this my file into my home directory. Well, to do this I'd use the move command, wouldn't I? Yep. So I'll type move, and ultimately I'm going to have to type all this, and you'll notice I'm typing /. Or you know what tilde is? That's the equivalent of this, yes, is it not? Or the equivalent of your username. So I'll type tilde, but I'm typing also a /. And the / is what you use to represent a folder, so a folder path. So in this case, bin folder, and it'll tell me it's a directory. Alright, so if I type that, yeah, see, I need the /, so it's a directory. So anyway, where was I? I was doing, oh, that's right, moving the my file to my home directory. So I type mv tilde, which is the same as home Michael, /, and what was it? It was workspace, was it not? And it was quadratic factorizer, and it was my file. Yes? And now space, so new parameter tilde, or yeah, I'm just going to write home Michael. Normally I wouldn't write this, I just write tilde, but anyway, enter. So I'm going to look in my home directory, and well, you see, I can scroll in this, but on some computers where it's completely a terminal, you can't scroll. Yep. So those people, they need more to see more information on the screen, but they don't have the scroll. So in order to see my file folder, which I've moved here, I'm going to have to type in a second command. So, and it's a button under the backspace with a shift. So hold shift and the button under the backspace, and you get this straight line. And I'm going to type in less. So it's going to shorten the amount print on the screen. I'll explain this thing here later and how this works in a different video. It's one of the advanced parts of Linux, but and this is going to list all the files in the directory part by part. So as I hit return, the enter key, it's going to keep displaying it every other line by line. So I'll keep going down to M, see if the my file is there, and what do you know, it's there. So I've successfully moved it away. So I've seen all I wanted to see, so I'll just hit the Q button to get out of the less, and there we go, back to the shell. So I can still, so I know that my file is in this folder. Alright, so I've showed moving files, I've showed renaming. Let's see. Let's get on to paths. Alright, so let's say I'm in here, and I want to quickly get to the home directory. Well, that's one up. So I type in cd. I could type in this, or alternatively, what you could do as a shortcut is type in dot, and dot will sorry, not dot, my bad, dot, and dot, well, the dot will represents the current directory you're in. It's a current folder that you're currently in, but dot is its parent folder. It's the folder that contains it. So cd dot will get me up one, and I'll type in, and I'll see I'm in home. So let's see this dot. Okay, so let's go on to the dot. cd Michael. Let's say I want to type a command, and it's going to be deleting that my file. Well, I would have to type dot my file. Oops, sorry, my bad. rm dot / my file. So this is the current directory. So these two represent the current directory plus the my file folder. Well, actually, you don't actually need this, but for some commands, you do. But anyway, you don't. Yeah. And it's deleted the my file. Alternatively, you could have that. It's equivalent, same thing. Why I showed you this / is because some commands need it, and you'll know what as time progresses. An example will be probably this one, ASCII print. I don't know. I don't even know what this is, but anyway, let's just say I have Python. Actually, never mind. I won't even bother with that. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so the main reason why anyone would use Unix is because it's a lot faster than a typical file manager. I mean, I could open up one right now, and I could see all the files I've been editing. Perhaps see, I can see the workspace folder, I can see quadratic, so all the stuff. I could do it all here. But let's say, but it's faster because you can do lots of things at once. So I can see there's a lot of .c files, so C code that I've written over the time. And let's say I want to organize my directory. I want to move all the C files into another folder. Let's call it C. Alright, so I'll go back to the shell, because this is video on Unix after all. Type Control L, clear the screen, and I want to move all the C files into a directory in home called C. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is create a directory. And to make a directory in the shell, you type mkdir. And what this stands for is quite obvious, make directory. Alright, so we type mkdir C. And this will make a C directory in the current directory, which is home. So I'm going to type make directory C. Now if I type ls and then C, whoops, oh, crazy stuff, ls *C. Okay, so when I type ls, whoops, I'll type in ls, and we'll see there's a C folder right here. Oh, it's apparently two folders. Okay, so I'll type in cd now. I'm going to go to the C folder I made. Have a look at it. Nothing's in it. It's a blank folder. Okay, so I'm going to go back to home, and I want to move all these .c files into this C folder. Well, obviously I would use the C command, the move command, sorry. And now here's something new. I'm going to type an asterisk. And what this asterisk is it's a wildcard, or what's referred as a wildcard. And basically, the star represents every possible text you could make. For example, you could write my name, Michael, as *L. These are equivalent. Or Mike *L or Mike *AL. But it wouldn't be Mike *L L star. This would not be equivalent. Alright? But these two are. So you see what I mean? I mean, in this case, the star represents AE, or in this case, it represents my car. So the star character represents text that you don't actually know. Okay, so I'm going to type move and then star character .c. So in this case, it's going to reference every possible file name in this directory. So it's going to represent echo, and then but this .c, well, that's going to pinpoint it down to a few. So it'll only reference these. it won't reference this because it's got some text after it. So it will only reference this file, and this file, but it won't reference any other really, because they're not .c and they're just finished suddenly. I mean, in this case, there's some text after it, so it won't reference it. Nice. So we're moving all the star.c's to the C directory. Yeah, I'll write it as .c. Okay, and hit enter. It's done it all. Let's have a look at it. There we go. All of our .c code is moved into this C folder, just like that. So, and in one command, relatively simple, I've moved all my C files into this folder. Easy, right? Okay. Now let's say I want to copy all those files that I've just moved. All these files I want just moved into my into a new folder. Okay, I'll make a new folder right now. So I want a clone of it. So I want all these files again in this new folder, because currently there's nothing in it. So I'll go back a bit. ls, see that I'm in my C folder. So what I type in is cp. So whether I showed you cp yet, or if I haven't, cp stands for copy, and what it does is it copies files. Okay, so cp, I'm just going to use star. So that's every single possible file in this directory. So it's going to move absolutely everything into new folder. Hit enter. And there we go. What do you know? It's decided to skip. Omitting directory there. That's basically jargon for skipping this directory. Not going to copy it. Okay, so that's how you copy files with the asterisks. There. So let's say I want to find the files. I'm at my shell. I've been working on some code, and now I've lost it. I want to find it. I forgot the directory it's in. So I type the find command. Now it's not called fnd. It's not called fin. It's called find. Okay, you can't really shorten it. FD, it could be FD, but no, it's just find. Okay, so now this find command has parameters on it, and it's actually has a lot. And I can't actually sit here and explain every single one of them to you, because that would take a ridiculous amount of time. So what you do is you type -- help, and this is a parameter to basically every Unix command. And hitting enter is going to print out a bunch of information. So I can see now that there's more information that can fit on my screen, so I'm going to use less. Or what I basically just did there is I hit the up button, and that's a shortcut to getting to what you've just typed, what you've just entered. So here I can browse through all the commands I've typed today, or in a period of time. Okay, so I'm going to hit up once, help, straight line, less. There. Now I'm going to see all the output that the help command gives you, like so. Okay, so I'm going to look at this. What do I need? What do I need? It's all crazy. This doesn't make any sense to me. So in order to use this, I'm going to type man find. Now man is a very useful command, and what it basically stands for is manual. So man will give you the manual for find. Man will not work for actually everything. A lot of commands won't have a man manual, but basically all Unix commands do, but the ones you download off the internet, they probably won't have one. They could, but they probably won't. So man find is going to give us a manual. It gives us help here on the bottom. We can either press H for help, more help, or we can use the arrow keys to navigate. And this gives us a brilliant description of the find command, which is absolutely excellent. You can become an expert on find with this. Here's a parameters you can, all the information, all this text describing just about everything. Descriptions of every little parameter you have. See, we can have one to turn off warning messages here. Well, I'm already quite familiar with find, and so I'm going to type find iname. So it's going to find all files with this name, and I'm going to type star.c, all my C files. Type, I only want files, so type F, and that's all I realistically need. Okay, enter, and it's going to go and print every single C file in my directory. Simple enough. I'll type it again for a different type. I'll call it APK. And this prints every single APK file I have in my home folder, or at least my current directory. And you see these these file paths? Well, these are actual file paths relative to what directory you're in now. So if it's like this here, if I were to do it in this command, now what's happening now is it's searching my entire file system for APK files. Looking. I literally have tens of thousands of files in this hard drive. It'll take ages to search it, so quick shortcut there. This third parameter makes it so it only searches the home folder. Path must proceed home. Oh, that's right. You have to type it here, I think. Whoops. And there we go. And we see this path is different to this path because they're relative. They're relative to what directory you're in. Okay. So let's see. What to do? Clear the screen. Let's see. I've covered quite a bit. I've probably gone longer than I should have, but hey, it's Unix. There's a lot to cover. Oh, man command. So basically, every command I've said, there's a manual for, and you can get a good description about everything. Normally, I don't actually go in the manual. I just type in -- help, and this will give me a help for everything. So it gives you a brief description. I want to copy files by force. I want to copy a directory. No, this is directory. And yeah, things like that. So, I'll do an example. I want to copy a directory. So let's see, what do I have now? In my root folder. So I'll go to home. ls. Okay, let's move this C folder to workspace. Okay? So to do this, I'm going to type, not move, let's copy it. Okay? So copy, so I'll type cp. I'm just going to show an example of what a typical person who's trying to copy would do. So C and then workspace. This is probably what you do, right? So let's hit enter. And it tells me it's a directory. It's not going to copy the directory. So in order to make it do it, let's look at the help. Alright, so this is what you probably should do when trying to do this and it doesn't work. Look at the help page. Okay, and we see that we need to read these. Keep going down. Here we go. Look at this one. R, recursive. Copy directories recursively. I think that's the one we're missing. R. Here we go. V, verbose. This actually doesn't really affect anything. It just tells the command to print what it's doing. I always like to do it when doing it. Okay, so I'm going to type cp dash r for recursive dash v. Now these dashes, these are what you type in order to give a parameter to the CP. And a quick hint is, you don't actually have to type this second dash. You could just type RV. But this is only for some applications, so generally I just type RV like this. And then we'll type C, and then workspace. Now you see it's printed up a ton of stuff. Just a ton of information. Too much information. This is because I typed V, verbose. So it verbosely told me everything that's happening. So let's have a look at workspace. And we see there's a C file. So let's see what's in C. And it's all this stuff. Okay. So let's say I have a command. I've written up my own command because I'm a programmer. So let's say I have one. Quickly compile this code. Don't really pay attention to this. Okay. And I have my command called gcd. Let's say I want to execute this command in this directory. Well, you'd guess I typed gcd, right? This is what you'd assume would happen. Well, if I hit enter, it's not going to work. This is because when you type gcd, it searches the bin folder of the root directory. So this folder and this folder and this folder. It searches these three directories for gcd, and it doesn't find it, so it tells me command not found. Well, obviously it's not found because the executables in this directory. It's not in any of those three. So in order to execute this command, I'm going to have to specify that the command is in this directory of the dot slash. Remember this? Well, anyway, dot gcd. Hitting enter, and the command is executing. This is the program I wrote, and we'll and yep. So that's basically it. Yeah, I have no idea how long this video is going for, but I think it's enough to cover file moving and stuff. This is probably too long, actually. Let me just look at this. You see here, there's a Unix shell as well. That's what I'm using to record my screen. Looking here, it tells me it's a whole gigabyte. Wow. Doesn't actually tell me how long it is, but oh, here we go. 35 minutes. Wow. Long video. I'm gonna end it now. Okay. Goodbye. I'll make another few more videos on Unix. See you in those videos. Bye.